organizing in Indonesia against the regime has been extensively through the internet. It's a mode of communication outside of the control of the major institutions. And to go back to contemporary plans, the goal now is to kill that, to try to destroy that aspect of the internet and to turn it into a home shopping service, a modality of control. So when you get on the internet, so vast, especially the web, you're going to have to go through a portal, and that'll be run by Microsoft or 5 other guys. And they'll design. The idea is to try to design it so it'll lead you in a special path. First, like when you turn on a television set, first thing you do is watch, 20 minutes of advertising, or you pick up the telephone to call somebody, and then you get advertising. So first it'll take you to preferred sites. And the idea is you hope that most people will be sort of absorbed in that. And then maybe extremely dedicated people who sort of know what they're looking for and are willing to fight through and have enough resources. Maybe they'll get to the point where they can contact other people interested in the MAI. But you'll filter away most everyone and bring them into the preferred world in which people are passive consumers. Their whole life is nothing but satisfying artificial wants, as they're called in the advertising industry. You have to create artificial wants, make people want things they don't want, make that be the whole value of their lives. So the idea that you might say have some control over your work or over anything that happens in your life, that doesn't even arise. I mean, you as a human being, that's the goal of the advertising industry, to create a new kind of person. In fact, that's what they call it. They say to nullify the customs of the ages and turn people into passive, isolated consumers who see no value in their lives. Their lives are worthless, and they can't do anything, but they can accumulate commodities that they don't want. That they can do. And you have to focus on that, and life, starting from childhood, people have to be turned into that, and they also have to be kept from one another. So the idea that people might, say, help each other or care about each other, you're not supposed to have that. I mean, take, say, education. There's a big attack, as you know, on the public education system. And the reason is because the public education system is based on an extremely dangerous idea, namely that you should care whether your neighbor's child gets an education. And you got to knock that out of people's heads because that's too much concern for somebody else. You have to be concerned whether your kid gets a good education, and you have to be given a government voucher to make sure your kid gets it, and if the other kid doesn't get it, too bad. Same with Social Security, same with social programs generally, same, of course, with unions. They're the worst of all. I mean, injury to one is an injury to all. My God, we can't let that live. So this is an enormous attack on any idea of solidarity, of sympathy, of interaction, of the idea that you could have some kind of life outside of having more shoes in your closet. And that's what the internet is supposed to be. So selling commodities, but also selling ideas and attitudes, because that goes together. In fact, an awful lot of advertising is just selling the idea that you're a passive consumer. It doesn't even matter whether you buy that particular brand or not. Just sell the idea that there's nothing to life but being a passive consumer. This is very conscious, I should say. This is, you read advertising industry literature, they just talk about it openly. Yeah, of course. So turn the internet into that and prevent it from being used for subversive purposes, like people communicating with one another outside the framework of the institutions of indoctrination, like the media and Harvard University and so on and so forth. Because people, if they find their way around these things, it can be dangerous. And whether that'll work or not, nobody knows. It's a terrain of struggle right now, very live one. But that's the future of the internet. It'll be determined by how people react to this.